Oh,
A
here we
watch
go.
party.
He actually just said something. Scott's your thoughts on Contractor Showdown with the alpha stuff. He says, I don't really care what they do. I'm not sweating what they're making personally. I've played it already. I enjoyed Showdown. I'm sure this will be good also.
Welcome to Tabor Tuesdays, episode 22. That's a lot of T's. I Get Boy, joined as always by El Cantoon, and we have a reoccurring guest now, Egoat47. We ran him back because we're talking about important stuff that's not Tabor, and he knows that important stuff. Say hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome back.
Forever and always going to be replacing Quantum because he's too lazy to actually do anything. So Egoat is now our new everything else that Quantum wishes he could be. Just kidding, that's a joke. Quantum is busy with something. We don't know what it is.
He won't be joining us today.
Anyway, we'll be talking about ridiculous out of the right wing, weighing in at a lot of weight and a lot of gigs. The contractors mode that were dropped in alpha testing, I think.
Yes, I came out of nowhere.
Came out of right wing, absolutely swinging. No one expected it. Could have imagined. No, I could have imagined this happening. I'm just
I
smart.
think you predicted it last time.
Contractors extraction mode in Showdown, and they are kind of also poking at Ghost of Tabor, which is funny. And Scott got really mad in the Discord about it.
Seriously?
Yeah, in the Ghost of Tabor Discord, there was like some announcement thing.
Let me see.
It's-
PSVR 2 update. There's like a lot of messages. Hold on.
Was it in the general chat or was it on the front desk of announcements?
Sure. Viewy.
Oh, here we
Watch
go.
party.
He actually just said something. Scott's your thoughts on Contractor Showdown with the alpha stuff. He says, I don't really care what they do. I'm not sweating what they're making personally. I've played it already. I enjoyed Showdown. I'm sure this will be good also.
Where is it?
It's up on general chat. It is in response to Slay Break, and it was posted up at 5:59 p.m. or 6:59 p.m. Where you guys are at.
59K.
Yeah. Let me see what else is here. Saying Merry Christmas.
I see it.
Oh, is there any news for Silent North? It's also in closed alpha this month in December, from what Scott said too.
Ooh,
Cool.
So we might have an open alpha.
Hopefully.
Also, apparently, Viewy is confirmed to be an elf.
I'm not surprised. 4 days before wipe happens, that's the only hit you'll get. No more. Bye.
I like the advent calendar thing they're doing, but this ain't about Tabor. But I would just like to point that out.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah.
for me, though.
It's a
the
good
bunker customization
cool
thing's
idea.
not. It really is, and it's crazy that they can actually put out consistent updates if they care enough to. But yeah, so let's be talking a little bit about Contractor Showdown and hopefully the fall of Tabor, and more importantly, Missile Silo. So this is going to be mostly Egoat talking and us asking questions because he knows the most. And we should have gotten Jakey Pants in here. We should have done like a duo YouTuber thing.
He's live streaming right now.
He's live
Yeah,
right now.
He's in the middle of something. You should go check Jakey Pants out though. He's actually helping code the Veil extraction shooter mode, or not code it.
No, he's developing. He's developing the idea of it, the concept, and what it should be. And the Veil VR devs are trying to figure out which one is the best because they have multiple people making the exact same ideas. And that they're going to have an alpha playtest maybe in January privately. That's what I've heard from what Jakey Pants said, and that's what Tropical said. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go.
Yeah, I am too. That's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
We should actually probably get into this because it's been like 5 minutes of us looping over ourselves. Anyway, Egoat, what do you, in terms of what's currently happening at Caveman Studios,
Well,
and what is
maybe
planned?
first of all, have you played it?
Have you? Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yes, actually, I have played it. I played only a day of it, sadly. I might be able to play some more tonight to get some more footage and more details of what is really happening. But as of right now, what I've known is that Caveman Studios have been kind of putting Contractor Showdown on the back end. And the real reason why that is because they need to reapproach how they're going to develop the game. They're an indie studio, and there's a lot that is going on behind the scenes because they have contractors and then contractor showdown. And now they're thinking about adding a third game mode that is going to make things a little bit better in terms of replayability. Because battle royales, they're cool, but they're very overplayed. And I'm going to assume that extraction shooters are going to be the exact same thing in the next couple years or so, but they're trying to capitalize it right now.
I agree. Lots of games are like, well, Tabor is the big one, but Vertical Assault is kind of an extraction shooter.
Is it?
Yeah, no, because you shoot things and you extract, and there's not really like there's a PvP thing, but no one plays that.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
So you've played it. You notice that they are doing significantly better than certain lesser games starting with T or starting with G. Sorry.
You know what? We'll just honestly, I'll just say it. Ghost of Tabor is probably going to be in a little trouble right now.
Scott's coping then?
I don't think he's coping. I think that here's the real thing. I think Ghost of Tabor and Contractor's Exfil mode are very different from each other in terms of hardcore play, hardcore and tactical shooter. I think that Ghost of Tabor is a little bit more casual, actually, now looking at the extraction shooter for Contractors. Yeah, and I find what's interesting even more is that they did essentially take Tarkov's gameplay style and put it into Contractors Showdown's gameplay loop, which I find interesting because when I played it, I didn't really like some of the gunplay. I haven't played the actual Contractors game, but I have played the Exfil game mode, which is essentially Contractor Showdown, and the gunplay is okay. It could be better, but I do think that this will be a big competitor towards Ghost of Tabor, without a doubt.
I thought that too. That's interesting you say that Ghosts of Tabor is more casual than it, because when Quantum sent videos of him playing it like the other day, it looked very arcadey from what I was watching.
What I saw is that the damage system looked very complex, and
I also picked that up. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not stick and NRS, everything goes better. It's, both my legs are broken. I guess I have to crawl now.
Yes, so that's the thing about Contractors that varies between, or that's the difference between Contractors and Ghost of Tabor, is Contractors not only runs better than Tabor, which I'm surprised about because I have a 3060 RTX, 8 gigabytes of VRAM, right? So my GPU is not going to be the best in terms of playing certain VR games at like 1440p. I try to play it at 1080p and it still runs terrible on Ghost of Tabor. But when I played the Exfil mode on Contractor Showdown, I was able to get a stable 72 FPS and even 90 FPS when doing play tests of that game. And I could barely do that with Ghost of Tabor. So first of all, the optimization already in the alpha is better than Ghost of Tabor. But I don't blame Ghost of Tabor because Ghost of Tabor does take a lot in terms of usage. It has a lot of complex, I would say, numbers. My understanding is that the fall off range and the unoptimization of early access, and including the CWS, is a brand new studio that's only been in a couple years developing Ghost of Tabor. It makes sense that the game is not as optimized in comparison to Contractor Showdown. And what I find even more interesting is that with Contractor Showdown having this Exfil mode, it has more content to it than Ghost of Tabor.
Yeah.
I think sorry, no, go ahead.
But just Caveman Studios has had the experience of having another game, one of the a very early VR game in this VR scene. Contractors has been around for how long was it? 4 years, maybe?
Oh, it's like what the hell?
It's like 4 to 6 years, I think. Yeah. Contractors and Contractor Showdown have been here for a bit now. I don't think actually Contractor Showdown came out more recently than Contractors.
Yeah.
Let me double check and fact check on Google real quick. Release date was February. Oh no, it released this year. For the
Showdown
1.0.
released this year. Contractors released forever ago, though, right?
Let me look up Contractors VR. First release. Let's check here. It was released on December 14th, 2018.
Yeah,
Whoa.
so Showdown's newer, but Contractors is a little older.
Yes, the original Contractors is the first game that Caveman Studios, I think, have made, and they now have a lot of experience in comparison to CWS and Ghost of Tabor, which explains why the game runs so buttery smooth and looks good on PC VR and even standalone. You can play this game on standalone pretty swell too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard according to Quantum. Yes, because you're the only one with a Quest 3 out of the three of us, El Katoon, sorry. I was recently yelled at by a certain someone in my real world that said it's El Katoon and not El Cantoon. And I've been calling him the wrong name the entire time. I apologize.
Oh man,
that's interesting. It took me 22 episodes to find that out. Anyway, you've played the game. It's good. The optimization's miles better than Tabor. Know anything in terms of insider information that you can tell us, or do you know anyone who knows anything that you don't have to name that knows anything about the game?
So sadly, no. Sorry,
right,
get off the
podcast.
All right, bye. Damn. I didn't want to be on here in the first place.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm kidding. All right, go.
But in all seriousness, I don't have any insider information. I have been wanting to talk with Contractors Showdown and Contractors devs to see if I can get a content creator role, because I have been getting a lot more devs out there to talk to. Like, I know Veil VR. I'm a content creator who's in the content creator role and knows like the details of stuff that's happening within Veil VR. Iron Rebellion, Into the Radius even as well. I started talking with the community manager, and he's a really cool guy. And there's a couple other games I've been kind of trying to get into, like Ghost of Tabor's content creator, but I don't think I'm going to get into there, considering my history and complicated relationship with Ghost of Tabor. But aside from that, no, I don't know anyone who's in Caveman Studios, but I wish that I got the chance to actually talk with them, because I would like to actually review Contractors and Contractors Showdown, because a lot of people have been leaving the game because of the updates being really slow, or it not being as fun as it used to be anymore. That's from what I've seen with the community, but I don't know how to feel about that personally, because everyone has a personal taste for certain games.
Yeah, because they're still on season 1 after.
Yes. Yeah, they actually even removed the battle pass for season 1 as well, so they've been kind of on a hiatus for making a season 2 for Contractors Showdown. They had a big release, and then over time it just started to fall, and I'm kind of sad about that, because I thought it looked interesting, and I think they even got a chance to give people early access codes to certain content creators. I think I was one of them, but I didn't take it because I was busy with a lot of other stuff IRL.
Mm-hmm. As always.
Yeah, sadly.
I have something to add here. As you were talking, I was scrolling through the general chat of Tabor Discord. The Tabor kitties are coping hard. Said, do you all think Contractor Showdown will compete with Ghost of Tabor or flop like Showdown? First of all, Showdown's good.
It didn't.
From what I've heard, I haven't played it. To which Micro said, flop like Showdown. Exfil looks like shit. I said, good. Honestly, I like Contractors and Showdown, but Ghost of Tabor has way better devs. I don't know if they do or not. Maybe they do. If they do, they should put it work better.
Well, if they say that it's better, then why the is my optimization on Ghost of Tabor so shit?
And then to which Micro said, Exfil looks like game.
I'm seeing it right now. Honestly, I really want to answer their questions like that, because in my opinion, if they are going to talk like this, if they're going to talk about the But to answer those kinds of questions and with seeing them cope, I don't think it's a bad thing that we have competition. But I do agree that Contractors Showdown and even the community itself have been kind of dwindling down, saying that Caveman Studios hasn't really brought out anything for it. People paid, I think, either $20 to $25 for it, yet there's no one like investing into it or playing it continuously. It's, yo, here we go. Infish Dev says, already tried it and done, but the studio who did it abandoned their games immediately, so I believe it kind of died.
Game name.
Good question. I think he's talking about Contractors, because someone said, I would like to see a VR game tackle the Battlefield niche and have large team conflicts and vehicles. Oh, he's just talking about in general. He's talking
about like a ground war kind of. You know what I'm talking about? Like like Call of Duty Ground War, where it's like the big map and there's tanks and helicopters and whatever. And
I think they're talking about like Pavlov and Contractors Showdown, because those kinds of games are one of those things, or one of those. They're those kinds of games that have a lot to prove, but they don't really provide anything that's going to be sustainable for the future of the game. It's the same thing with Ghost of Tabor, right? Because everyone who can buy Ghost of Tabor in early access now is getting these updates, but now the studio is not going to get money the same way Caveman Studios or the people behind Pavlov are doing the exact same thing, which is why I think they're making these efforts to make people want to come back to buy these games or even buy them and continuously play it because of that. So I think it's really about longevity, and these games, and Ghost of Tabor will have a longevity. Their community, even though I don't like their humor as much, they're kind of cringy. I do think because of how diehard they are now, Ghost of Tabor won't go anywhere. But
no, it's going to be there forever, unfortunately.
Yeah. Exfil Raid, however, or Exfil mode, is going to be one of those games where they have to prove and make their community trust them again to make it worthwhile. They're taking a big risk here. Exfil or like extraction shooter games are hard to make, and to balance them right is even more difficult. Tarkov is still having issues with balancing, but it's a lot better than it was 5 years ago. Same thing, or 5 years ago? Well, it was released in like 2016, I think, or 2018, whatever. It's been a long time, right? So either this game is going to succeed and provide better content than Ghost of Tabor will, or it's going to flop and Ghost of Tabor will continuously stay stagnant in terms of evolution. But the wipe may say otherwise. I don't know what the wipe's about. They keep talking about how big it is and how the content is, but they have been before talk a lot of big game and then not invest into those like mechanics into it. Like, for example, the lean mechanic in Ghost of Tabor, Scott teased it. We haven't seen it since. And obviously they have their different priorities straightened out. Like, for example, adding a DLC to make a permanent username in there, which, by the way, I think is stupid, but at the same time, they got to make their money. So I can understand.
At the end of the day, it's like a business, but they have to make money, but they should still care more a bit about their community.
I agree. I think Ghost of the Tabor's community is a bit complicated, though, because they are ridiculous. There's a lot of people in there that complain a lot, and I think the devs are just sick and tired of hearing that, which is why I think they should just do a full reset and then make a new rules or set so that people who join in have to follow these rules and get verified. Because a lot of people can just come into the Ghost of the Board community and not be verified. There needs to be a verification system to follow the rules, and much more, and I've talked about this before, hard stops on people when they go too far with breaking the rules.
Yeah.
I agree. I think what El Katoon said, at the end of the day, they care, I'm sure, because they want to make money, but at the end of the day, it's always the money. Anything ever, it's money. And Scott's a businessman, and he will what he can to make money. And that means listening to his people, I guess. But he's not doing a very good job at it. I don't know.
Yeah, so let me look at the Ghost of Tabor roadmap again, because I think these have been like getting updated recently, and I agree that Scott what I've understood, and when I've talked to him with that podcast, I've understood that he is a business person and he really wants to make this game worthwhile. And he's always competing with themselves to try to make the best game possible. But I think the main issue that I see is that there's some things that should not have been put on there in the first place. So certain DLCs, like the weapon DLCs, I'm okay with. I don't care about that. They put in supplementary items in there now to make them worthwhile. But at the same time, why add in DLCs now when those guns don't even work or even are polished enough to be able to use, like the lever action? Shit sucks to use. I'm not going to lie. I hate to use that thing, but it's a really cool weapon and I really wanted to use it, but it's also terrible. It's like, I'd much rather go and play Into the Radius 1 on the lowest setting possible, reduce my pixel density to like 0.2 and reduce my resolution to 0.5 and play that game instead of dealing with that lever action.
The lever action's a niche gun too.
Yeah. I just think I genuinely think in the future for Tabor, since this Exfil game is this Exfil game mode Contractors brought is exactly what Tarkov is. And Ghost of Tabor has tried to hit that mark before. They said it was inspired by DayZ and Tarkov and all this stuff, but they haven't added in the things that really make what that extraction shooter is made to be. And it's a hardcore extraction shooter. And they said it's also hardcore survival FPS, but it's not hardcore when you don't give the stats for the armor or the bullets or the penetration, which, by the way, there is so much more content for armor, weapons, helmets, and stuff like that in that Exfil game, more so than it is on Tabor. And I'm floored that this is just an alpha. Seriously.
Yes. And Tabor has had... When did Tabor come out?
A while.
Tabor came out in 2023 or 2022, so it's almost it's almost hitting the 1.5 to 2 year mark. And
yeah,
this
so
is
they've had that long to make it. Contractors dropped it this weekend, and they're already doing things miles better than Tabor, or kilometers, depending on where you live.
which I'm surprised about, because I think they've been probably having this on the back end. They've been probably putting their nose to the grindstone and working the shit out of trying to get all the stuff going. And to be quite honest with you, if they're able to do this within that time frame and they have less people in their indie studio versus what Ghost of Tabor has now, that can say a lot. It could say a lot. We don't know what the real numbers is, but it could say a lot if we did know.
Yeah.
And I think if it was lower than 20 people, that's mad impressive.
Yeah. It's going to be so much better. And like you said, Tabor's never going to die out. And I'm a firm believer that this will become a fight of the big three extraction shooters, which is Vale when it comes out, Contractors, and Tabor. And it's going to be based on Contractors is better, Tabor has a more solid community, and I don't know what Vale will be yet. But I feel like people will constantly argue and bicker over which one's better, and it's not Tabor by a mile. But people will say it is because they're coping.
It'll add competition and more like diversity to like what specific things you want to play.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we will find out that Craig, the bot recording right now, is actually the owner of all three companies, and he is pulling in money like there's no tomorrow. And that is, of course, the outcome and general consensus of this episode. And I think we all were thinking it, but I just wanted to be the one to say it. Well, Craig, it will always be like, look at him, look at his eyes, bro. Look in the Discord, look at his eyes. Like, those are the eyes of a man that knows something.
He's seen so many things happen this entire this week. Honestly, side note, this entire week has been just not floored. I keep saying that because it's my favorite word right now. It is an expansive amount of updates that have happened with a lot of games. Breachers VR, Contractors, Veil VR. We have Iron Rebellion coming out with a 1.0 release. We have Into the Radius 2 with its updates. We have Tabor with its wipe. Seriously, we are getting so many things in VR for a lot of these games that have been out for a long time. It's crazy.
It is.
Especially the Exfil game mode for contractors, that came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Like no one was talking about contractors. Everyone was like, oh, you should get Veil, you should get all these new games. Oh, Sale had an update, no one cares. Oh yeah, you should get all this stuff. Contractors Exfil mode dropped. What the hell? Not on my 2024 bingo. Definitely not.
No, I don't think anyone expected them to actually make an extraction mode. But I think that with this, I think there is a open space that people are not filling in for this extraction game mode for VR. Yeah. And everyone is craving for it. But the only thing that's really okay to play, or the best one out there, quote unquote, is Ghost of Tabor, because it is the first ever extraction shooter in VR. And people always think that because it's the first, that means it must be the best, and people are still continuously playing it. But we're now seeing Veil VR try to get an extraction shooter on their roadmap. We have Contractors now releasing their extraction mode now. I can only assume other VR games or FPS VR games are going to be coming out soon to compete in this area. And now since there's competition, I pray that we get better content out of this. This is good for everyone. But I hope that the beef between Contractors VR and Ghost of Tabor doesn't stagnate, because the original, the idea of, and I'm going to talk about this because this happened like about 4 months ago, maybe even 5 months ago, where Scott wanted to sue Contractor Showdown for using the term skill issue when they had a pending trademark on it. And this is still on Reddit. You can still look this up. I have the screen. I was the one who posted it, and I have the screenshot set up. And I don't think people realize this, but I think Caveman Studios now has beef with Ghost of Tabor. I hope not, because they want to try to be, that good, non-toxic competitiveness, right? But with Scott doing that, I have a feeling something is going on behind the scenes that are really making Caveman Studios go, okay, they really want to play like this. Let's play. Let's do this. And they brought out this. It's like Kendrick Lamar bringing out GNX. Like, they really want to play with the industry. Here you go. Here's TV off. Here's Reincarnated. Here's all this stuff that is miles better than we've heard in a long ass time. Seriously, I think this Exfil mode is great. There are issues with it, though. There are issues with it.
I think it's stupid that they have skill issue trademarked.
Wait, do they actually have it trademarked, or just like...
I think it was pending, but then they probably reduced it, or they probably took it down, or they stopped pursuing it. I don't know if it's fully there. You could probably check the trade. Well, I don't know who the trademark commission people are in the United States, but you probably check for Scott's like full name or the business that he runs and see if it is fully trademarked.
Yeah,
it is public information. You can always just look it up.
Yeah. All right. I think this is probably plenty that we can slap together like a sloppy Joe or something. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed, and by that I mean I'm gonna play Terraria Calamity with one of my friends.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
So, yes. Anything either of you would like to add, or Craig, the man who knows all?
Boy. I think on our last episode, you predicted that Contractors Showdown could overthrow Tabor. I think so.
Am I the Simpsons?
Oh.
We were talking about games that could overthrow Tabor, and you brought up Contractors Showdown, I think.
On the future of the podcast? I actually haven't watched that one yet, and I haven't watched any of them. I'm just the guy that sits here and talks.
Yeah, but you said it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I might be the Simpson of VR. That'd be very interesting if I did.
What if out of the 16 views, the head of Caveman is like one of our continuous supporters? Wait, we used Craig to record that podcast episode. Oh my god, it was Craig the whole time! It was Craig, I knew it!
I do have one more thing to say before we end the podcast.
Yes.
I do think that this is great competition. I'm excited for it. I really pray that this becomes a great, non-toxic, competitive feeling for video games, and especially in VR. And I hope that with the suggestion box being filled up a lot on Contractor Showdown, and especially with people actually listening and the devs actually listening to what people want, I do pray that this will be the next best thing for the future of VR games.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Yeah. All right.
Hey, one more thing. I searched it up, and Combat Waffle Studios does own the word skill issue.
So they do own the word skill issue.
Yeah, they did trademark.
Skill issue is not a word; it's a phrase. But okay.
Oh wait, no. Status, live, and pending. Okay, never mind.
We can take it first. Imagine how funny it would be if the YouTube channel with 66 subs managed to get their pending thing for skill issue in first, and they have to use something else.
I'd probably cry in laughter. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny. And then we'd make them pay us a ridiculous. I'd make them delete Missile Silo for them to have it back.
Hey, you want this back? Make Underground better.
No, don't make it. Underground Motka's fine. Get rid of the other Underground map.
I think, man, that's another day to talk about.
That's another thing entirely.
Underground versus in Silo.
Else. Yeah, Silo's by miles worse, and I will die on that hill, which is more of a cliff, and all the Timmies are pushing me off it. But, anyway, all right. I think that just about wraps it up. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent evening, wherever you may be. Happy holidays. It is December, so happy holidays. And remember, trust no one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're